The next cookies I am going to make was my husband's choice of gingerbread cookies. And so I was looking through all my cookie books, my Christmas books, my Betty Crocker, to find the recipe that best met his criteria, which is a thick gingerbread, spicy gingerbread cookie, and he wants them frosted. And I settled on the recipe in the 1950, the first Betty Crocker's picture cookbook. And this is the recipe that my aunt made when I was a kid, and I really liked those because they weren't thin and crisp. They were thick and cake-like. And so these are the ones we are going to make today. Here's a picture. You can see, I don't know if you can see, how thick they are. Thick and spicy. They have cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and allspice. And when I was looking at the other cookbooks, I have the famous Betty Crocker 1963 cookie book. And unfortunately, when I bought it on eBay, pages 19 and 20 was missing. But that has the Gingerbread Boys, and I believe this is the very same recipe. This is the same recipe as the 1950, and it also has an icing to go on it, an easy creamy icing on page 150. In this 1984 Betty Crocker Christmas cookbook, they don't even have the Gingerbread Boys. They have a light ginger cookie that's made with powdered sugar and some ginger, but no other spices. The 1986 Betty Crocker cookbook has what they call gingerbread people. And it has 2 teaspoons of ginger, double the ginger. Where this has 1 teaspoon allspice, ginger, cloves, and cinnamon. The 1988 Christmas cookie book is the recipe for light ginger is the same as the 86. The 1991 Betty Crocker's 40th Anniversary Edition cookbook has ginger people, and that one has the 2 teaspoons of ginger and a teaspoon each of allspice, cloves, and cinnamon. The Betty Crocker Ultimate Cookie Book from 1992 has gingerbread cookies, and it also has the 2 teaspoons of ginger, then 1 teaspoon allspice, cloves, and cinnamon. This is the 1993 New Christmas Cookbook, and that has a recipe that's pretty much the same, with only 1 teaspoon of ginger, half a teaspoon allspice, cloves, and cinnamon. And this 1995 Creative Cookies has gingerbread people that has a teaspoon each of cinnamon, cloves, allspice, and then 2 teaspoons of ginger. Gingerbread Boys that my aunt made and my husband wants is rolled out to be a ½ an inch thick. It has 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and allspice. And the one in the 1963 cookie book, the famous cookie book, that also has 1 teaspoon of each of the spices. But it says to roll it out a 1/4 inch thick. And that makes it a crispier cookie. And he wants the thick cake-like cookie. This one here is the reprint facsimile from, well, it says 1950, but it's the facsimile that was printed more recently in the 2000, I'm thinking. So we're going to go with the 1950 original Betty Crocker picture cookbook for Gingerbread Boys. So I'll set up the ingredients and then we'll get started. Now we start out by mixing a 1/3 cup of soft shortening. I'm using butter. I always use butter. A cup of brown sugar and 1 1/2 cups of molasses. So I put the 1/3 cup of butter in the mixer. One cup of brown sugar. And 1 1/2 cups of dark molasses. And then after that is mixed up, we add a 1/2 cup of cold water. Scrape down the sides. Make sure all that sugar's down in there. Now I have to sift together the flour and the spices. I need 7 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of ginger, a teaspoon of cloves, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to get a bowl and sift them in because I could only get 4 cups of the flour in the sifter. It's a 5-cup sifter, but if you need room to turn the crank. So I'm going to sift that into another bowl. with the spices, and then I'll be right back. So I've already sifted the flour and the spices together, and I already added most of it to the bowl, to the mixer. And now I'm just adding the rest of it. And it says after that is stirred in, then you stir in 2 teaspoons of baking soda that's dissolved in 2 teaspoons of cold water. So I'm going to dissolve the baking soda and the cold water together. I'm going to put this bowl in the refrigerator so it can chill, and then I will come back and roll it out and cut it. The dough is chilling in the refrigerator, and now I need to find a cookie cutter that will cut the thickness that we need to roll it out, like a ½ inch. One that is a Betty Crocker's little gingerbread boy evidently came with a box of gingerbread mix, but that's way too thin. This one's a little over 1/8. I mean a quarter. A little over a quarter. This one's almost a half, but not quite. And then in this can here, I have one that was a gift to me, and it was a special Wisconsin Well Woman program for breast cancer. And that's definitely thick enough, but it's a gingerbread girl. So maybe I'll make a gingerbread couple. I'll use one of these and this to do my cutouts. And if these have too much difficulty, I think this one's taller. If these have too much difficulty, then I will just make little girls. Oh, I could cut pants on them. Okay, well, I've got my dough chilled, and I'm just gonna, it says to put it on lightly greased pan, but I like these cookie sheets. They work really well. They fit perfectly on these half sheet pans. I've got about half the dough here. I could only get 4 gingerbread boys on this pan. And so now they go into a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. I really like this board for rolling out dough. My marble board, things seem to stick. Also, the wooden board seems to stick, but things don't stick as much on this. It has a slight texture to it. It's not real smooth. It's not like ice smooth. It has a little bit of a texture, so things release on it much easier. I think my daughter bought that for me, so I'm not sure what the brand is. The crammer quit for some reason. I thought maybe the battery was dead again, but it didn't say the battery was out. So sometimes it's a little persnickety and it stops recording when it wants to. Okay, the 4 boys are in the oven and now I have 4 girls. I'm going to finish cutting these out and then I'll let you see what they look like after they're out of the oven. So now the cookies are out of the oven. It made 17, 18 with the leftover blob. This one, I cut the ginger girl. I gave her some pants. It turned out looking like a cowboy wearing chaps. Anyway, my husband already ate one, so I only have 16 here. Well, the cookies are cooled now, and I decided I'm going to use the easy creamy icing out of this classic cookie book. And I have sifted 1 cup of confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar. There's it asks for a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then it says a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla and 1.5 teaspoons of cream or 1 teaspoon of water. I have 1.5 teaspoons of cream in here, but I don't know if I'm going to need it all because it's half and half. It's light cream, it's not heavy cream, and I don't know which they wanted. So I'm just going to put my vanilla in with it so it'll blend better. So I'm putting a tablespoon in first. And then if I need more of the cream, half and half, I'll add that. I do need it all. Good. So we're going to frost this little gingerbread boy. Or gingerbread man, I don't know. He wanted them completely frosted. He likes his frosting. I asked him if he wanted some raisins on there for the eyes or whatever, and he said no. He just wants frosting on there. So I will finish frosting these, and then I will be right back. Well, I ran out of icing, so I had to do another batch. I'm doubling the icing that was in that recipe. Lots of icing, just the way he likes it. Oh, here's our little cowboy with the chaps. Isn't he cute? So yeah, doubling that icing recipe. Just finished icing the last cookie here. I hope you enjoyed this video and will like and subscribe to get notifications of my next videos. And please leave a comment down in the comment area because I really like reading them. Goodbye for now.